Well, welcome everybody to Bar TV Sports coverage of the 2019 Final Series. We're here live at number 2 again, and it is a beautiful day. It's a cracking day, one might say. And you can see over there the Merewether Carlton side who are taking on Maitland here today. Maitland finishing higher on the table. Merewether Carlton just scraping through last week against a very good Lake Macquarie side. It's going to be a big match. The crowd is building. And I'll tell you who else is building. It's my co-commentator here today, Tony Munro. How are you, Tony?
Yeah, I'm really well, thanks, Ruff. And looking forward to a great game. As I said earlier, it's going to be a real competition between these two. The Greens got away in round 3, the beginning of the competition, with a tight one in after full time, 118-16, and then in the second round, the Greens really took the Maitland boys to school and were leading by a considerable margin at half time and ended up running out winners at about 40-7, but it was really all the damage was done in the first half, and I think that's on the back of their superior fitness at that stage of the season. Whether that's still the case, only time will tell, but I expect the fitness levels of the Greens to be one of their major fighting weapons today.
Well, you might say that, but they kind of got run down last week, a little bit complacent maybe against the Lake Macquarie side. We saw Maitland as well playing Wanderers, a little bit out of their game, so both sides will really need to improve here today, taking on Wanderers next week, who unfortunately not bowed out yesterday, but lost to Hamilton. Hamilton straight through to the grand final for looking for 5 in a row. I know plenty of them watching it, the sunny side here today.
Yeah. I was talking to Bubba this morning down at Merewether Bars. He was pretty happy with the boys' head out. He said luckily they got through unscathed, no injuries. Obviously they'll miss Assy in the grand final because he was unable to extend his departure to his contract that he's going to overseas, so he's gone. But of course they bring Tom Coupe back in. Tom will play seconds next week, get a bit of match fitness, and then expect him to come into the number 1 team in the grand final. Of course he was the man of the match last year, so they don't lose too much there. Yeah,
interesting to see him coming off the bench yesterday. A surprise to everyone. No surprises here though. There's a couple of changes, obviously enforced changes for the Maitland side, with a couple of heavy head knocks. Good duty of care shown by Maitland to rest, obviously, Travis Brook, massive loss, and Howe as well, who just provides a big body for Maitland through the middle.
I agree with you. Travis Brook's the massive loss. His football prowess, his knowledge, his composure and his skill level, they'll really miss that in his guide to the back. And of course Michael Howley's one of the biggest bodies in the competition, and when Howley gets something done, you know it's been done right. He's very good football. He's been through the Brumbies Academy, very skillful, and also another good leader. So yeah, I think they're going to miss those two badly up front. But you can't deny the quality of replacements they brought in, especially in James Johnson, who's been a bit of a stalwart at the club for a long time and a regular first grader.
Yeah, certainly has. A much improved Merewether Carlton scrum. We've seen the 2 imports. They're starting today, Whiting and Brown, in the 3-1 jerseys. Should be a very interesting proposition against Manu. Harry Chapman, of course, with Shoot Shield experience and through that Gen Blue side as well. And of course the stalwart Dan Runch. It's going to be a very interesting up front there today.
Yeah, let's hope there might be a little bit of fireworks there as well. Roughly, we know they've got to keep their tempers in, but some good hard scrummaging up front. They'll maybe ruffle one another a little bit and see if we can get some good scrummaging. But the scrum from both in that second round, they don't look too different on paper. So I think it's going to be a good tussle, and it's really up to that Maitland forward pack to fix their flaws from last week. And I'm sure Matt Thomas has worked them pretty hard during the week to make sure they lay their background for what is an exciting backline.
Yeah, it certainly is an exciting backline. A couple of changes. Chris Martin, a late withdrawal here today. Bradford moves to the wing. Logan, a fullback. Big Robards comes into the centre. Yeah. He's a bollocking runner. It's going to be a very good matchup between him coming into inside centre and Billy Coffey, who we saw what he did last week. I spoke to him yesterday. He said his body was sore for weeks, just used as a battering ram.
Yeah, talking to Billy on the way in, he said exactly right. They just kept... And the plan for them last week, let's hit it up, send Billy up there and then start going out the back. And he said, I got to half time and I said, when are we going out the back? And he said, but he likes that contact, the physical game, but I think Billy might use a little bit more of his footwork, and he has got good feet, as you remember from the days when you were playing with him. So if he uses that, especially on the big Robards...
I'm pretty sure I taught him everything he knows.
Well, I guess Robards looks like he's done the opposite of what you did in your career. He's gone from the front row out to the centres. You sort of went and moved in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that's how it goes, and I'd like to thank Merewether Pies for that. We go, Beatty's on the bench as well. He comes in, he played a full game last week. He was the starting fly half. I expect to see him injected probably early in the second half. McCormick will likely move to fullback. I think if Maitland are any chance, they've got to start strong, and they've got to start with a bit more directional play here today against this Merewether Carlton side.
Yeah, agree. And they've got to use all the skills they've got out the back line. They tended to go or try to find Manu too much last week, and I think their decision making at times was poor, which has normally been one of their strengths. I think they lose that with not having Beatty there. He controls the game well, and I think Josh McCormack is much better at fullback. Very
good communicator, and that's taking nothing away from Josh McCormack's game. Very, very good player. And I just think his better position is fullback in this side. We saw it last year as well. Fowles comes onto the Merewether Carlton bench, but I tell you what, Sam Rouse played a very good game last week and kept them in the match.
He did. A couple of great tries, a nice big dive over in the far corner. And from that touch football background, he's got fantastic footwork, great explosive speed. He'll be one to watch. I also think Jay Strawny was pretty quiet by his standards last week, so I expect him to have a big game today. This could be his last game together. Him and Billy Coffey played a lot of footy together. They've been best mates for a long time. I'd say they don't want to end their careers today with a loss.
Well, just quietly, Jay Strawn's very lucky to be playing here today. I thought maybe he would have got cited. He's one of the favourites on Bar TV Sports, but probably deserved to get cited last week, and you called a penalty try.
Yeah, bit of controversy around that, but we won't go into that because what's happened. But I think he dodged a bullet there, and he probably should have been cited by the commissioner. But it didn't happen, and he's here to play, and let's just hope he goes out with a good game, win, lose or draw.
And we can't go into a match with Maitland featuring without their back row. Of course, we mentioned Brooke is missing. James Johnson comes in, who I guess he's not a weak link at any stretch. John Birrell and Nick Davidson. Nick Davidson, you put him up there with Ben Ham, you put him up there with the best loose forwards in the competition.
Yeah, and Nick has been for such a long time, and you can't stop him. It wouldn't matter. You'd have to cut his legs off to stop him. And even though he doesn't train a lot because of work commitments, that's the higher regard that this club holds him in. They just let him keep playing, and he trains when he can, but he always looks after himself meticulously.
I don't know if he'd be able to train midweek, him throwing himself at his body all game. And here comes Carl Manu leading out this Maitland Black side, the captain of Maitland. They finish higher than Merewether on at the table. It's going to be a very, very good match in this Rams NHRU 2019 final series. The winner goes through today to play at the Wanderers Club next week.
The other matchup is going to be interesting is the halfbacks. Stafford, a bit of a live wire. Has to be careful he doesn't overplay his hand at times. Sometimes when there's a penalty has been awarded, he tends to take the quick tap and go, and now the rest of the team standing back watching what's happening. He isolates himself. But that'll be a good tussle between he and young Eli McCulloch, who's developing into an excellent footballer.
Yeah, very good temperament. And Jerome Wilson leading the Greens out. Both packs fairly evenly matched. You'd probably have to say Merewether Carlton almost with the advantage with Rockaboro at number 8 there. They've certainly done well in getting him to the club.
Yeah, good recruit. And that hit last week that he put on young Ben on the wing, you pick him just based on that performance, so that was an outstanding. But his work rate last week was good, especially for a man of his age. We know he's around the 40 mark, not sure, but just that Fijian international experience and the amount of experience in games that he's played over the years, he'll be a massive weapon for them today. I expect another big game from him.
Yeah, big game. And Nick Gall is the referee out there, third-rated referee, probably between himself and Louis, the two best, the next best after Jared, you'd have to say, in this competition for the Specsavers referees.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see. I guess this is a playoff for them as well.
Well, it seems that way, doesn't it, with Jared not being around. But we've had him a couple of times during the year at uni, and we were very impressed with his developing, and obviously it takes time for these young kids to mature. But it's just important they give them the opportunity and let the game go.
So here we go. Toby Waite with the ball to kick off, running towards the Marketown end are the Greens. The Blacks running towards the junction. Good take there by Runchell. 30 metres out. Now it comes to McCormack straight away, who chooses to put it on his toe. Sam Rouse comes across. Good positioning there by the fullback. Good chase there by Maitland. No, getting around Logan in the end, but in the end he's driven sideways up towards halfway. This is going to be a very fast-paced game by the look of it, Tony.
I think so. Maitland's obviously got that win and they're going to use it in this first half. But you can see the speed that Rouse had to get underneath that ball. He was almost caught out of position, but just quick enough and then pin the ears back and let's go.
That one coming to touch nicely. McCulloch. His father Ben actually taking Toby Waite, kicking practice this week.
Is that
and
right? Yeah.
Changed a few things, so look for a bit of an improvement there too for this man with the ball inside to Billy Coffey, trying to run over. I don't know if he's going to use that footwork you mentioned before, Tony, because he was straight into the end.
Early days.
Here comes Milton. Good run there by Milton. There's McCulloch. Inside ball to Robinson. Robinson finding a bit of space. Good interchange of passing there by the prop forward. Here's Billy Dunn. Finding himself somewhat isolated. Coming around again. This time Waite. The Greens. Good structure here. Billy Coffey trying to get around Manu. Manu, very good tackle. Good technique. And that's one of the underrated parts of his game, isn't it? His defence.
Yeah, he's only a small man, Manu, but his technique is very good and he doesn't miss too many tackles.
Over the ball there, the Blacks. I believe Chapman it was. Yeah, doing well. That's good work at the breakdown. Good strength.
Good strength, good body position, got in over the top, and the Greens left their play a little bit isolated there. But you can see their willingness to move the ball from side to side, try to run this Maitland team around. And you can see they've done their homework and they're looking back at that inside ball, which they got caught out just over the other side of the field there from that breakdown.
And you'll see out there a jersey change. Dave Whiting in the 3 jersey, Charlie Brown in the 1 jersey with the red headgear. Bit of controversy about that too. Had a phone call from Peter Bakarich during the week, and he says he thinks he's patented the red headgear.
Yeah, it's a different shade of red.
Yeah, that's what I said. He said red's red.
But I think Pete's had his from day one. It probably hasn't changed it, so it might be a little bit of dirt in there amongst it as well.
Gets them ordered in specially. Here's Dan Runchell, first line out of the game. Merewether Carlton, most improved area of their game coming in the semis. Oh, lovely steal there by the Greens, but knocked on at the back. So here we go. First scrum of the game, and I'm standing up.
Yeah, this set piece in the line-out's going to be interesting for Maitland because Travis Book has been their go-to man all season, and missing him, they're going to have to rely on some of the other guys, and so how quickly they can recover from his absence. And just then we could see the timing was just a little bit out on that occasion.
Well, he's the caller as well, so they're going to probably miss a bit of that as well, a bit of cohesion.
Yeah, it is important to get the calls right, to know where the space is.
So McCormick, nice and flat. Manu wide. Clackety on the left wing. Bradford on the right. Good scrum. Here's Manu. Round the back to Logan. Logan to Clackety. Stepping back in, stepping around a couple. Dummy shows. There they go now. The Blacks for the corner. Bradford goes over. Well-worked try. And Maitland opened the scoring.
That was a really well-worked try. Everyone just hit the ball at the right time. Their pace on it was good. No one took it standing flat-footed. And that ball from Manu out the back there and set Logan. Logan's got some serious pace too. Don't underestimate the speed that he's got. And that was quite evident just earlier on there where he chased Rouse, where it looked like he got away from him.
Yeah, definitely he has got a fair bit of speed, hasn't he?
Yeah. That was a nice finish. The Maitland boys will be very happy with that. They needed that to settle them.
It was last season. He scored 4 tries against Carlton, and a couple of them from his own 22. So definitely speed to burn there, Logan. So first attempt right out on the sideline. As tough as you'll get. No breeze here today at number 2 Sports Ground. Are you backing him in?
Yeah, I am.
Bradford? You are.
He's got a little bit of breeze at his back. He'll set it out wide onto the breeze and let it float over.
Oh, there we go. I like it. First little tweet in. Benny Whaler, the coach of Maitland, as that comes around, and unlucky.
That's why I'm not a betting man, Ruff.
Benny Whaler texting in the text line up the Blacks, and he's got something cryptic about the Seahorses there too.
Oh, that'd be nice, Benny. Benny being an old Blacks junior, coached Benny in the Newcastle countryside. Has been a good footballer for a long time, and a hell of a nice guy.
And here comes Billy Dunn, the little engine that could. Second touch of the game. They go to Milton short. Milton throws a dummy, almost slices through. Rockaboro. Defensive line up quickly. Had Sikiotis on the wing outside.
You get Manu around the ankles, probably the smallest man taking the biggest man on the field.
And Charlie Brown, good hit up. Whiting Oh, dummy there by McCulloch. McCulloch hasn't got support. Yes, he has. Milton comes from nowhere. And Milton goes over for his second try in the semi-final series.
Yeah, the Greens have caught Maitland napping in that area. That's the second break earlier in the game. They've gone back on the inside, and they've obviously done their homework on that. Maitland leaving that 10 channel open and not pushing up until that ball's gone wide. And Eli McCulloch, he does like to have a little dart. It's another one of the aspects that he's added to his game this year and doing it quite nicely.
Yeah, they went, didn't they? Through the big dummy.
Yeah.
You see on the Bandlaw replay, and the big dummy came out. He went up the middle, and Lockie Milton showed that pace that I guess we spoke about last week. We spoke to his old man just before. His old man says, former back, obviously.
He's an ex-centre, and they've moved him into the forward pack, given his height. And he's grown. He's had a great season. It's a breakout season.
He definitely has had a very good season. Toby Waite, we'll see the influence of Ben McCulloch here. He's taken him for kicking practice, as we mentioned before. I don't know if it was kicking practice and down to the Burwood after. And he's made no mistake there, so the Greens go ahead. 7 points to 5 on the Street Property scoreboard. Of course, the broadcast brought to you by the Titan Group. It is the Rams NHRU 2019 final series. Plenty of sponsors on board too. Elders Insurance, 8 Recruitment, Specsavers. Bradford with a high kick. That's a lovely kick. Not the chase they probably would have wanted. So Billy Coffey with a chance to get a good exit here, and they roll towards the 22. Ball comes into McCulloch. Here's Strawn caught flat-footed. Strawn
got the penalty.
Yeah, draws the penalty.
Hands in the ruck at the breakdown. Yeah, that was a very poor chase then from Maitland from that kickoff. It was a nice kickoff, plenty height on it, and they didn't have any pressure on the catcher at all. Young Eli McCulloch will kick for touch here into a reasonable sort of a breeze, and he gets a good contact with the ball and goes to touch just short of halfway.
Yeah, nice work, McCulloch taking the kicking duties this week. Toby Waite was the man last week, so a bit of pressure off his shoulders. Yeah. Oh, that's a wayward throw there by Billy Dunn. So John Birrell called back. Yeah, numbers. So lucky there because the throw was awkward. McCulloch looks like he's clutching that groin potentially there. Here's Jerome Wilson. Jerome Wilson takes his first hit up of the game. The Merewether Carlton captain. Almost throwing the ball there.
He's got his arm out.
Here comes Strawn. Strawn getting on the outside of McCormick. McCormick wraps him up nicely. Advantage looks to be over. As Merewether Carlton now into the 40. Here's Milton again. Milton now almost cutting up the middle again. That one, poor pass there. And Brown takes it forward off the ground. Here comes Whiting. Whiting puts his head down this time. He's been looking to offload and does the tough stuff. And that ball again, bit of communication breakdown for the Greens at the back of the breakdown.
Yeah, they tend to get that way after a bit. If they have 3 or 4 phases, they lose their shape, and that's where they need that organiser to step in and pull them back into shape, or just slow it down and go again.
Well, Toby Waite, he's the man with the 10 on his back. He took that one forward as Brown goes again. It's good composure, though, by the Greens. Oh, ball to Billy Coffey. Billy Coffey has support. Sikiotis on the outside, draws, passes, and it goes into touch. Billy Coffey probably should have given it a bit earlier.
That's a chance gone big in that one, isn't it? Probably given it a bit earlier. I've got to agree with you. Let them back up and support. But I think Billy, and he crabbed across. He stole a lot of his outside players' space then by crabbing across. Should have just straightened it up, drawn and passed. But the Greens are exposed in Maitland on a couple of different areas. They need to sort that defensive line of theirs out very quickly. Otherwise, they could be in for a long afternoon. Come down for another scrum here with the...
Yeah, 5 metres out, and Merewether Carlton looked good in that first scrum.
Yeah.
So,
well, the Maitland Blacks have nominated to go for the scrum rather than line out. They did have an option there. They've taken the scrum, so I think they'll probably just cut it out. The big fella here.
Well, they'll have to watch themselves. They don't want to be going backwards too much, but Robards probably the intended target, as you said there. And the scrum penalties semi-final time, they've been a little bit confusing from the Specsavers referees. So we'll see how it plays out today.
Maybe it's time for a check-up. I just noticed the touch judge, Jared Logan, gave for the referee a bit of a heads up then that the prop for the Greens was dropping to his knee. So
it was Jared's day yesterday.
They'll give it. Yeah, they could. They're going to be careful because they will get a free kick against them if they keep doing that.
So Max Stafford with the ball.
It's a good initial shunt there for the Greens, and they've got their.
The Greens have popped the opposition there. Chapman draws the penalty. I don't know about that. They were going forward there, the Greens.
Yeah, it's a little bit confusing. I don't think the referees know what they're doing at times. When you've got a scrum who's dominant and the opposition stand up, to me, it's got to go to the team that's being dominant. That's certainly the case there.
Yeah, I think every time it should. That ball. Oh, good touch finder. That is a very good kick
on that one, hasn't he? Yeah. High risk, high payoff.
So they come up and you can see there Dave Whiting just questioning the referee. They're just seeing, or probably telling him I popped him. Eli McCulloch over the top. Toby Waite to Jerome Wilson. Jerome Wilson not with a full head of steam there, but they consolidate the ball, the Greens. Here's Cade Robinson. Oh, good run again. Over halfway. So the Blacks starved with the ball at the moment, you might say.
They are. The Greens are just getting through that first line, just poking the heads through and getting the Blacks on the back foot. But you can see the problem they've got with that line out here. Another loss there. That's going to hurt them if they don't get that under control.
Oh, good little kick over the top for Schmuhar by McCulloch, but out on the full. The thought was there.
Yeah, it was a good idea, just the poor execution. That's where the really good teams can put teams to the sword, by just controlling that play, keeping the pressure on. Obviously, they know that Maitland's line out struggling, so they put them deep in their territory, but they're not going to get that opportunity now. It comes back to a line out for the Maitland team.
Yeah, they'll have to try and get this one right. The breeze has picked up a little bit, but Runchell this time, they get in front of their man, the Rockney. Here's Manu trying to get on the outside. Oh, lovely footwork there by Carl Manu. Up the middle, can't pop the pass to Logan. The Blacks now, first chance here to attack. Robards, lovely ball there to Bradford. Bradford inside the 22. As they ruck it forward. McCormick calling for it. Looking for runners. They play midfield. A little bit slow here, the Blacks. Here's Runchell. Runchell. He'll cart the ball forward.
Green's got the Blacks have got numbers here if they go.
Oh, Robards on the outside. Inside ball. Here goes Bradford for his second try of the match.
Yeah, Maitland worked a nice mismatch there out wide. They're able to get four of their players on the three. Two forwards from the Merewether Carlton there defending. Bradford's done well. He's moved straight up the field, drawn the player and sent the ball back on the inside. That was a really worked move, highlighted by Carl Manu when they first took that play, straightening up, not drifting too far across, not panicking when he couldn't get that ball away off the ground. He had enough sense just to place it. The support play came in and they kept the momentum going. And even though they lost a little bit of structure, they brought it back in. It's what the Greens were missing earlier on. They've got the experience there to just control the play, settle it back down and then create that mismatch on the outside. And
yeah, it certainly was. And as we said before, the direct running, when they do that, the Blacks, they're somewhat unstoppable, aren't they?
Yeah,
especially through Manu with the footwork. And that's really what they needed to do last week. And they've done it here today. And if they can keep doing that, this is going to be somewhat of a match, isn't it?
It'll be a great game. Manu's strength is he gets that ball in his hand, he will straighten the attack up and then he'll get blokes standing, square them up, and then he gives himself options to use that footwork that he's got. And his speed off the pace, he's got to be 35, 36.
Oh, he's done well there. I
was going to call that one in too.
He's nailed it.
A chance, but that was a nice strike.
Straight up and down, old school.
So I think it looks like Manu's got his A game here today. And you remember last year in the grand final, they couldn't catch a cold last year. The passes are sticking today. There's been a couple just in front, but they've managed to stick, and it's making all the difference.
Oh, that's a lovely jump in the air by Robinson.
It's been one of their weapons, the Greens, from the kick-off too. They use it.
Toby Waite really works on that part of his game as Brown goes into the defence. They won a couple last week too from memory is Billy Coffey. He goes in, Strawn looking for the ball, now swarmed by a sea of blacks, and now cutting them up. Grabbed by the jersey in the end. Here's Jerome Wilson. Gets them up towards the 22. Sam Dart comes around. No, they go to Brown inside to Milton. Milton, he's done plenty of work.
So Strawn's moved into that first receiver role now, and he's directing traffic and pushing and pulling plays into position.
Oh, lovely ball to Robinson. Rouse on the inside, can't get the ball away.
Maitland managed to slow that down.
Good pick and drive here. We'll see how they play in the 22, the Greens. We've seen the benchmark, the Hamilton. They're quite happy to pick and drive. Well, they're not going to play anything if they...
Yeah, Nick Davidson's come in there for a nice steal again. He's so strong and tough over the ball.
The Viking.
The little run that Jay Strawn had before, you know what he's like. He runs low to the ground, probably why he gets so many head-high tackles, and he has been on the receiving end quite a number of times, but he's so hard to tackle, and he's straight back to his feet, and he can just look and see what the play's going to be, and he's pushing and pulling plays into position. They had numbers out here on the left, but they were a little bit too bunched and didn't use the full width of the field, so weren't able to capitalise on the advantage like Maitland were when they scored their try.
Two semi-final 2 years ago. Jay Strawn played the similar role last year with Sam Bright, I guess, there. A little bit more experience, nothing against Toby Waite, directing the traffic, so the older head comes in.
I think it suits Jay's fitness level too to stand in the middle of the field and not have to run too far.
Yeah, definitely.
They've moved Schmuel to the centres in defence.
Yeah, he's did that last week as well on the wing as Stafford throws a dummy, goes up. McCormick, short ball. Nice run there by Robards. Good tackle. Here's Runchell.
Stafford was appealing for a penalty then from the Greens player not rolling out of the way.
Here's McCormick. Little stabbing kick in behind. Good option there, just slowing the play down.
Yeah, that's good.
So they're ready to really grind this one out, the Maitland Blacks.
That's a typical Hamilton play there. A couple of hit-ups, not going anywhere, and just roll it back in and let's restart again. Put a bit of pressure on this line out.
Coming out, Waite. Oh, lovely hit there. Carl Manu forcing the error from the Greens. Here comes Nick Davidson. Nick Davidson winds up. So the Blacks again in a good position. McCormick hasn't got many options. Oh, Christensen. He'll catch that 10 times out of 11 every time.
I'll go back to the initial lock-on, but you can see that was that play for the Greens. Send Billy Coffey through, played out the back, but unfortunately the timing just wasn't quite right. Carl Manu read it beautifully and put the pressure on.
Yeah, defensively very sound here today as well, Carmanu. Probably suits the outside centre position.
Gives him a bit more space, a bit more freedom. I think he's better suited there. He's not your typical 12 that's going to cart the ball up and crash all day. So I think they've got a nice balance there. And you can see they've moved Chris Logan over here to this open side. And with his speed and footwork, he might light something up here.
Yeah, James Johnson at the back with the option. McCormick is sidelined with Logan. Manu to the left. So Nick Gornard happy with something again. Lower grade scores today. A couple of upsets yesterday with the undefeated Hawks getting beaten by the Greens.
Yeah, in the seconds. That was talking to Bubba this morning. He was saying they were just out enthused yesterday. The Greens played very well and got away. The Greens have had a few injuries with players are starting to come back. So they've gone straight through to the GF with Hamilton in P1s, Greens in 2s and Hamilton in 3s. And then Wanderers will meet the Greens next week in the preliminary in P3s. Hamilton and Maitland in P2s, and we're just waiting to see who's going to meet with Wanderers in P1.
Good scrum there by the Blacks. Oh, not the best ball by Stafford, looking for Logan. Logan looking to split the defenders. He sets them up in a pretty good position, 15 metres out. Here comes Chapman, winding up. They bind onto him, but he's going to go to ground. Ball out the back to Birrell, and Birrell well read in defence that time. Here comes Manu. Manu steps off the right, the left. Almost the goose step. Inside to Christensen. Christensen Plenty of experience from the number 5. Been all around the world. Stafford looking for McCormick. McCormick to Manu. Devante Manu in the 19 jersey. He's had a very good season. Now they go to McCormick and they go in behind. Now Manu with plenty of space. Manu read by Milton. Oh, Milton almost ripping that ball out. Yes, he did. Knock on is the call, though.
Manu's behind the ground, tried to place the ball and get back up and knocked it on in the meantime. That's that great line speed that the Greens keep throwing up, and that tackle by Billy Coffey coming out of the line quickly shut them down in the middle of the field then, but right across the paddock the Greens are able to come up quickly, put the pressure on and slow down that attack, and of course the result was an error by Carl Manu.
Plenty of people out there watching in Bar TV Sport. Peter Backridge trying to sell his dog on the NHRU feed. And Charlie Felder mentioning it is the Gropers scoreboard here, so a little bit of flavour for the Gropers in the semi-final as well.
And I've just had a text message from Blake Crichton. Apparently this is Jay Strawn's 150th first grade game today.
Oh, there you go.
So that's a great effort by Jay. So thank you for that, Crichton. Of course, Crichton, Blake Crichton, one of the Green stalwarts and a good mate of Jay. Played a lot of football together, won premierships and played a lot of representative football.
Out the back, McCulloch swarmed by Stafford. He's very good at that at the back of the scrum, Stafford. He's very busy and unlucky not to get away with that because I thought the ball was out, Tony.
Well, there's probably a few others in black thought the same thing too. But young Nick Gall didn't see it that way, and there's a penalty here to the Greens.
Oh, off the side of the boot. McCulloch, you hear him as well.
He was not happy with that. He knew he'd
his dad's been teaching him French lessons.
Yeah.
Off the top, Sam Dart does well. Good throw, Billy Dunn. Here comes Billy Coffey. And he stopped in his tracks. Good defence by Maitland. Burrell it was. Here comes Sam Dart.
Shoulder.
Dancing around. Here's Milton. Milton. Oh, he's picked up and driven, and that's going to be a penalty. Quick tap by McCulloch. No, he's going to have a chat, and we'll have a bit of a listen. Yeah, we'll have a listen to this. We may not.
Above the horizontal, yeah. He's gone above the horizontal, so it's going to be a yellow card.
Yellow card?
That's the standard. Yellow card.
Whoa. I don't know about that, Tony. Semi-finals, I know it is the letter of the law, and the referees are playing to the letter of the law.
I think that was more of a flip. I think he flipped him and released him. There wasn't any drive in it.
Yeah, very unlucky there, Josh McCormick. And I don't know, Josh McCormick probably hasn't got that in his game, so certainly unintentional.
He'll be disappointed with that, and so
he went past the horizontal was the cause. You could hear the Bar TV Sports channel.
There's been a lot of football played over these semi-final series with 13 and 14 players on the field.
Oh, McCulloch.
Yeah, you had a look on that one.
Yeah, he should have dived on that. Birrell coming through, charging through, and Eli McCulloch, as you said, probably should have dived on that one, but no one wants a boot to the head, do they?
No, they don't. He's probably inherited that from Benny's dad.
He's got King Street to go to tonight.
Well, we've got a pretty tight game here. No one's really taken control. They've all had their moments of brilliance. The line-out's been a real issue for Maitland. I think the Greens line-out's been good. Scrums, I'd have to call it probably even at this stage. Greens have had a couple of little half shoves, but haven't really been able to put Maitland off their game.
Yeah, 12 points to 7 on the Street Property scoreboard. The Gropers scoreboard malfunctioning, so they're not having much luck in the semi-final series.
No.
Last week's scoreboard was down, the Wanderers scoreboard, so they've replaced that. I've brought this one in from Nelson Bay.
Is this a borrowed? Oh, okay.
And this one's...
Have they plugged it in?
Yeah, it was working. It was working earlier on, so...
Maitland play down at the moment.
Yeah, Harry Chapman it was.
Yep.
Front rowers rules, pretty hot out there.
Well, it might be a
bit of water.
Tactical ploy.
25 minutes down. Scrum to be set. Play will resume. 12 points to 7.
And I don't know if Maitland will be happy with that lead going. If they maintain into half time, they'd probably like a few more points with this breeze at their back. hasn't been a lot of kicking in the game, so they haven't used it too much. You see Strawn's out on the
wing.
Side wing, so they're
Not a bad
him.
tactic there.
Yeah, well, especially if they kick it back, and that's what they're there for his counter-attack.
So it'll be a Stafford feed for the Blacks. We've got Bradford standing in at fly half with McCormick off the field. And here he is now, Bradford turning. Manu on the inside. Manu almost finding space, but for Sam Dart to stifle the run. Birrell on the right, but they go to the left. Here's Chapman. Chapman done a bit of hard work, dropped the ball. Second drop of the game, I think, there. And Shmuha
He's ripped out.
Jumps on it. Ripped out was the call, you're right. The Greens trying to regather, recompose. It pops up. Toby Waite with the ball on his boot, but Logan perfectly placed. Toby Waite kicking, chasing, and Rouse in the end. Oh, coming across, good hit. Shmuel launched himself. Hit of the day so far, Tony.
Yeah, look, he's a big body, Shmuel. He's obviously a talented footballer with Waratah, with the Warringah Rats experience in the Shoot Shield. He's not scared to put his body on the line.
Good tackle. Midfield, the Blacks attacking again. Birrell. He's been busy. Here's Christensen isolated down the left. And they'll look to probably play tight here with McCormick off the field. Now Bradford goes to Manu. Manu quickly to Logan. Logan looking for some space. Finds the space up the middle. Jerome Wilson comes across. Last ditch effort there because the goal was open. He would have scored under the sticks there, I think, and not rolling away.
You rolled him over. 5 green, rolling.
Jerome Wilson. Ping there in front of the sticks. Bradford
5 green, not rolling.
in some good form on the boot. You think you take this one?
We'll take this one. There was a smart tackle there by Wilson. You notice he attacked the ball because he could sense that Logan was going to try and go to ground and pop the pass, and he had some support on the inside. But Wilson was able to slow it down, but unfortunately for him, not able to roll away as the Blacks came in support and pegged him down there.
He's been one of the big finds, hasn't he, Wilson, over the last few years, coming over from the Butcher boys.
My word is, the respect that he has there at the Greens, the fact that made him captain, is, we talked about it last week, where he's not as one of your own, so to speak, and it does take a long time to become a local at Merewether. Talk about some of the old stalwarts. We know Sam Berry's just arrived at the ground, one of the university stalwarts, been around for 1,000 games.
Still going, isn't he?
Still, well, he's just bought a new pair of boots this year. So.
Doing a Masters or something next year, isn't he?
Yeah, we're all studying something.
Here comes Bradford in front of the sticks. These are the tough ones. As he hits it, and the flags go up.
He struck that beautifully too.
He has got a very good strike on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, very smooth. I was interested to watch that play of Manu's off that scrum before. It was almost identical to the one that Logan played against the Greens last year, where he scored in the dying minutes. So it looks like the Greens have done their homework and not going to get caught out on it again.
So big news here. Eli McCulloch struggling with that groin injury. Yeah. So Eddie Clifton comes on the field. Eddie Clifton, different player.
Yeah, disappointing for Eli, but he's got experience. He's played a bit of rep football, and he's a real live wire. And he doesn't mind a bit of a dart around the base of the scrum as well. So Maitland will have to keep an eye on that.
Oh, Maitland go up for it. That was pinpoint. That was on the line. That was over.
Nice take.
Yeah, good run there by DeRockney. And now Maitland playing with some real pace here, real purpose, driving forward, but they've earned themselves a penalty, the Greens. So this breakdown.
Yeah, James Johnson tried to place it and get up again rather than just going to ground and letting his support do the work for him. And fortunately, he's knocked it on in the process. Yeah, a few penalties in the breakdown. Toby Waite now kicking. And he does a good job up to the 22 there, I thought. Yeah, just punched that nice and low, straight into that wind, and got some good territory from it. Thought he got a bit more on that there, but Jared Logan thinks no. Billy Dunn with the throw. Just waiting for it. Oh, yeah, just the timing out there. Milton went up for it, and Billy Dunn's throw was too late, so they knocked the ball on both ways. So Maitland have done their homework on that particular line-out move. I think they were counting on the extra bit of height that the green player had, but so they just couldn't execute it, get the timing right. So Maitland need to settle this scrum down. They really haven't had a steady, good, clean ball in the last couple. Greens have managed to get the first shunt on them and putting a bit of pressure on the back. They're still getting out, but it's slow ball. I'm sure they'd like to get a bit of a shove on, get a couple of paces going forward so the backs can come on and get the Greens defence on the back foot.
So Max Stafford, you can see, really barking at his forwards as well out there.
He's a fierce competitor, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. Singleton Junior, and he came over to the Blacks. Used to play front yard footy with Zach Sykes.
Is that right? Okay.
So similar age. I think Stafford's a couple of years older.
Well, if they can get right through to the grand final, they might be able to renew that rivalry in the grand final against the Hawks. Young Zach Sykes playing there as with the Hawks at the number 9, and he had another strong game yesterday. Talking to his dad this morning, he's really enjoying having the big Scottish
the big number 8 Hill.
He just gives him that composure and helping him out in his role. He's been a real asset for them.
So scrum getting reset here. Of course, this broadcast brought to you by the Titan Group, also the Maitland Rugby Club's major sponsor in the Rams 2019 semi-final series. Yeah, that's a penalty there. The Greens.
That's a fair call. That's how it should have gone, that last one.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Greens moving forward, punching forward. And they popped him again, and he was pretty quick to blow the whistle there.
Yeah, well, it was legitimate. Dave Whiting got in underneath him. He's just squeezed him up and got the pop on him.
And talking to them out there, the two English guys before the match, they're absolutely loving it here. And they're proper English forwards.
Yeah, I just hope Dave Whiting's got his sunscreen on today because it is hot out there.
Is it Dave Whiting or Nathan Forshaw minus 10 years?
The love child.
So 5 metres out. We saw last week a couple of trick plays by the Carlton side. No, this time they choose to go down and start the maul. They realign. They go, good fast feet there, but the ball goes to ground. Billy Coffey finds himself with it. He's put on his back. Eddie Clifton, little dart out of dummy half. Out of the breakdown, sorry. As it comes across to Milton. Milton with a bit of space. Oh, good speed, good tackle, good cover by the Blacks. Picking up his Whiting. Whiting can't get there. Stays in. Here comes Brown. Brown's rolled on his back and held up.
Trying to get that ball down, but I don't know if he's been able to slip it down onto the try line.
Perfect defence there by Maitland off their line. You saw the way he just got under his body and rolled him. Yeah. Not a mean feet on a big body.
It is, and even coming back before that, the two guys that made the tackle straight back to their feet, covered off on the short side. And then they were able to get their defensive pattern back into place, grabbed him, rolled him onto his back. And he's a big, strong lad too. So they've done well. Looks like there's a man down in the background. It may have been a result of that tackle.
Yeah, certainly. He got right under him, didn't he? And just rolled it. That's, for the kids at home, as they say, that's how you do it.
That's it, yeah. That looks like James Johnston there, who's he might have got a cop the stinger. Just favouring that shoulder when he was down a little bit earlier as well.
Good crowd here today. Probably the biggest we've seen in the 2019 semi-final series. Of course, the Blacks travelling down, and a few of them watching back at the club. The Imperial as well. There's a plethora of people.
If the Blacks get down through, if they can get through this and through to the grand final, there won't be too many around in Maitland because they do travel well for a grand final.
Yeah, definitely.
So McCormack's getting ready to come back out. He's doing some stretching and warming up. They can't be too far away.
So still about 5 minutes remaining. Bit of injury time as well, you'd imagine.
Yeah, not too much. Probably lost 2 or 3 minutes. But, here we go. This could be interesting, the Greens. They have been pretty strong in these last couple of scrums. See if they go for the pushover.
You'd have to think playing to their strengths.
Or they'll hold it in and try and go for the penalty.
As they drive for you. Good scrum by the Blacks.
See, they got the second stunt. They're popping up on that loose head side again.
Inching. They are popping up. Dave Whiting's popped him again. Advantage being played. Oh, Eddie Clifton comes out. Billy Coffey trying to force his way over.
There was a hole there for Clifton. If he'd taken it, stepped off his right.
Here comes Rockabaro. Billy Dunn comes around. Milton with a bit of footwork again, trying to sniff out a second try. Waite comes to the right.
Numbers out wide.
Quick hands is needed. They get it. Schmuha for the corner. Schmuha goes in. Lovely catch and pass there by Rouse to set it all up. But Schmuha untouched.
Yeah, that was just a simple catch and pass. It's such an important part of the game, and probably one that's not practiced enough. But you get into those situations, there's as much pressure on the attacking team to catch and pass the ball and get it over as there is on the defensive team to stop them. But in that instance there, the Greens executed beautifully and sucked the defence in, played a couple of tight, brought the defence in, created the space out wide.
So 15-12 now the score. Kick to come. Tough one here. We'll see how far he's come during the week, Toby Waite. But they're impressive, aren't they? Dave Whiting, especially at scrum time, loves it. Just popping. I mean, Harry Chapman, he's played at a very high level as well.
And it just shows the importance of having good, strong front rowers up front. They don't get a lot of recognition. There's always a lot of talk about them. But you can see the difference in there is by them setting a good foundation, getting a good, solid scrum, and getting the ball out wide. And even the work they're doing off the ball, they're attracting defenders. And when they have got the ball and they're carrying it, they're making some good metres.
Two, I guess, contrasting players as well. Whiting, very good with his hands as well.
Yeah.
And Brown, he just tucks it under and goes for it.
He's pretty one-dimensional, but yeah, Whiting has got a bit more to the into the toolbox.
So from 5 metres in from touch, Toby Waite.
Bit of wind into his face.
He hits it. He's hit it pretty nicely there, and it goes across the face of the goal. So 15-12 in favour of the Blacks. There's still a bit to play in the half.
We're pretty evenly matched now. We've only got that penalty goal that's been the difference. And again, no one's really exerted themselves onto the game. It's ebbing and flowing in favour of each team.
Billy Coffey again gets them up to the 22. Oh, the ball spits out. Poor body position there by the Greens. Manu comes out. It's going to be called back for a knock on both ways. Billy Coffey just unable to handle it there as Devante Manu has a bit to say.
Well, Billy doesn't
they won't mind this though, the Greens.
Billy doesn't want a bit of a chat. No, this is... Yeah, I think with the experience and the size they've got in that scrum, they wouldn't be struggling as much as they are, especially with Runchell there.
I think as well, don't take away Rockaboro, Merewether, Carlton haven't had a big number 8 like this for some time.
Since, with Jamie Lind and Nick Lesberg, it's been a while for them, but it does make a difference. That extra weight,
and definitely missing Howe in that scrum. I mean, he's a 120 kilo beast, isn't he?
He is. And the experience of Brooke at the back.
3 steaks a day type of body, Michael Howe, hasn't he?
And they're big steaks too.
Yeah, definitely the T-bone. Picks his tooth with the T-bone.
The Blacks have just got a regular set up here in their back line.
You see McCormick's back on the field as well.
Might be looking for Bradford just to cart this up, play off the second or third phase.
Yeah, Robard's very close, isn't he? Going to try and probably test Toby Waite, tire him out a little bit. Good line speed by the Greens. Oh, Manu comes on the inside. Lovely tackle. Sam Dart somehow got a hand to Manu. Quick balls needed for the Blacks. Good quick hands, unfortunately.
3 unmarked players out wide. They just
went
couldn't
behind.
Get it there.
Stafford going for the line. He's almost there. He's going to be held up, though. What about the blistering pace by Manu? Sam Dart coming across. That's unbelievable cover.
That is that play from last year from Logan. It's exactly the same. They've practiced the defensive on that, but it's that speed that you play at that just makes the hole bigger and harder to close.
We saw last week, of course, former teammates Hayden Peterson as well, when he injected himself at pace. Very hard to stop running those angled lines.
Yeah, you can see why they were such a force at the task together, can't you? You mark up on one and the other one just pops up somewhere. important part of the game for Maitland here. They really need to get some points just going into half time with this win.
Well, the Greens will probably try and force a penalty out of this scrum, you'd have to think. So look for the push off their own line. They'll have to be careful or at least wary of that blind side. Maitland twisting. Stafford going the short side.
Wrapped up well then by Clifton.
Yeah, Clifton did well. Driving forward. The Blacks looking to extend their lead before half-time. Penalty.
I think they've called that as a maul, and he's pulled it out.
He's collapsed them all, yeah. We'll have a little bit of a listen. They're going to call the scrum. So looking to exert some revenge, you might say here, the Blacks.
They're confident. Well, that's good attacking football, and it's good. That's good positive mental attitude for them to take into. I guess sending a message to the Greens, we're not scared of you. You want to do this all day, we'll do it with you.
So regular time now. Into injury time.
See Logan's just loitering in the back there.
Manu right next to McCormick there, so
12.
You might think he's probably going to do a run-around play there with Robards maybe. Just hit the outside shoulder.
I think Chris Logan's the man to go to on this one.
Yeah, 5 metres out. He's very deep, isn't he, Logan?
Yeah, Manu's very flat, so he likes to hit the ball with a bit of pace and depth. We're still having to reset this scrum now. The referee Nick Gall's not happy with it.
Taking their time.
Well, they've got a good early.
Yeah, penalty, yeah. As you said, Stafford with a quick one. Stafford goes for the line, bounces out of a couple. Is he over? Oh, he must be so close. They need quick ball to the right here.
They've turned it
They'll
over.
pick and drive. As they turned it over, they've dropped the ball.
So I was making that comment earlier. Nick Stafford has that tendency to take off and do things on his own without waiting to see what the team wants to do.
They could have set that up a little bit better, but it's going to take us into half-time. On the Street Property scoreboard, the score 15-12 in favour of the Maitland side. We're going to take a quick break for the Rams 2019 final series and come back with all the second half action soon. Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Rams NHRU final series. It's been a very close half of rugby union here at number 2 Sports Ground. And on the street property scoreboard, 15 points to 12 in favour of the Maitland Blacks. They played very flat last week. They've come out a different team here today to take on the Merewether Carlton side, who will be running left to right on your screens towards the junction end of the ground. The Blacks will be kicking off. And one of these teams is going on next week to take on the Wanderers as we get to the second half. And here we go. It is a showtime here.
That's a lovely kickoff.
Oh, that is a great kickoff, isn't it? And Tony, you were down talking to the teams out there. What were they? What were the thoughts?
Two different lines of thought. Matt Thomas obviously wanted to get his set pieces right. That's a real concern for them. He said we can't expect to win this game if we haven't got a decent scrum, guys. So they'll focus heavily on that. The Greens, they're going to look to play for territory and just keep the ball in the hand and try and starve this Maitland team in possession.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. I'm very surprised that we haven't seen as much tactical kicking as I guess semi-final series gone by. Teams happy to run it, and good line out again by the Greens. Coffey again used as a battering ram, so that role continues. Oh, penalty to Maitland in front of the sticks.
Yeah, they were slow to that breakdown then, the Greens.
Very slow.
Really isolated.
Yeah, he's entitled to be filthy at his team there.
Yeah, young, well, I shouldn't say young because you've been around a while, but Birrell straight over the top of that. You know, they're two of the best combination. If you look at a pair, the 7 and the 6 for Maitland, as good as any in the competition.
Yeah, definitely. And both good around the paddock as well. Good running games too.
Yeah.
Which is rare to see. You normally see one, as they say, pilferer, and one with the...
they just know one way.
And they're built out of the same mould. They could almost be brothers.
Well, it's Maitland.
Yeah, true.
Let's see if Bradford continues.
Not
good
quite
kicking,
Curry.
Good kicking form. He's hit the last couple very sweetly into this breeze.
He hits that, and he hits it nicely.
Great
goes up. Very, as we said before, great action, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kicks through the ball.
Very smooth. He's obviously done a lot of practice.
So 18 points to 12 now. Merewether Carlton would not have expected that.
Manu takes the ball up from the kickoff, beats the first defender. Some quick. Oh, it's a kick by Stafford, then it's virtually gone straight up and down. And Maitland have got the bounce, and it's come back into the Maitland hands. They'll look to move it wide. They're calling for it out wide. They've got numbers, they can see that.
Yeah, nice ball. Here comes Clackety. Palms off Strawn like he wasn't even there. They go in behind Chapman to McCormick. McCormick playing a good dominating role here today. Durockney solid in the first half as well.
Yeah, a little bit disorganised there. No one's really sure who's supposed to get the ball. But they'll get their shape back. And
here's McCormick, and he'll just take the pressure off, put the kick in behind. Here comes Sam Rouse. No, they'll draw the penalty.
They've got the penalty. Played
coming all the way back.
Played high percentage to try and get a result. Wasn't their way, but they'll come back and...
Very big advantage. We'll take a listen to this. Is they going to have a bit of a chat, are they? Or are they just going to get on with it? Manu calling.
Drive, 11.
Just getting a little bit of assistance there from Manu.
We'll have
Just come in, lazy shoulder. Straight after another foul play, so it's going to be yellow card.
Yellow card. So that's a square up, they might say there, Tony.
Well, it's consistency, and I guess that's all you ask for. But now the laws are very clear on shoulder charges and not using the arms in the tackle.
Another couple of tweets in as well on the live stream. John Fordham tweeting in. Got my client Ricky Stewart over the line yesterday.
On your boots.
And hoping to make it a double with the Greens victory.
On your boots has been a great supporter of the Greens over the years, an ex-player. And just a real character and larrikin of the game.
So here's Runchell again. The Blacks inside the Carlton half. Carlton man up, lovely steal. That's his fourth steal of the game.
Yeah, they're really struggling that line out.
Oh, Rockaboro Hasn't seen much
been
ball,
quiet,
has he?
He's been quiet. He needs to start and impose himself in this game.
Well, we saw last week he picked it up in the second half as Rouse goes wide. So did that man with the ball, Rouse. He's electric with ball in hand. As Brown goes now over halfway.
That's where the Greens really need to speed this play up. They're getting caught in the
good
breakdown.
hands by Coffey. Rouse kicking in behind.
Logan's got it covered.
Yeah, Logan, funny bounce there. A little knock on maybe. Sikiotis can't stick to the tackle though. And we saw him back play there. Little jumper grab on Rouse as he was trying to run through. As it goes back for McCormick. And that's not the best exit that they would have liked. So pressure now for this Maitland Black side.
There's that wind advantage. The Greens have used it. Put it down there and make the Maitland pack work it out. But they've got to get this line out right. The scrum's struggling, the line out struggling. It's not looking good for them.
Not a traditional part of the Blacks game, is it? They're normally very good at the set piece. They go to the back. Oh, that's gone to Nick Davison, straight into his hands. Offloads. Here's Manu. Manu can draw and pass. Flicks it over to Clackety. Clackety has Logan on the inside. Oh, doesn't throw the pass. Has McCormick coming around. Numbers everywhere. And in the end, Stafford goes without it. He had 4 or 5 players coming through. Could have thrown it to any of them.
Yeah, Logan's there purling. He reckons one of the Greens have got a hand on that, but the touch judge isn't having any part of it.
Yeah, touch judge.
I think they had too much support there. They didn't know who to get. There's 5 or 6 of the Maitland players calling for it, and they just got in one another's way.
They came in numbers though, didn't they?
Yeah,
That's troubling for the Greens.
They were there.
The support was there.
But I don't think the Maitland guys, when they saw that space, they just didn't quite know what to do with it.
Topping 28 degrees here today as well. Do you think fatigue may come in to this match here?
I think it'll hurt the Maitland guys more than it'll hurt the Green. But yeah, obviously it's got to. It's the ground's looking very dry. It's heat. It's hot, and that wind has got to be favouring the Green. So I think that'll play a part in the last 10, 15 minutes. Unless the Maitland can get some more points on the board early. So you know the Greens will not give up.
Better scrum this time by Maitland. They dig in. Rockabaro forced to pick it up from the back, and
Stafford's wrapped him up nicely there at the back.
Birrell as well in there. He gets to ground. Eddie Clifton calling for offside there. I think he might have got the call from Nelson. So penalty to the Blacks.
Yeah, that was Nick Davidson, was it?
Was it Davidson or Chapman?
No, Chapman. Yeah.
He's been very strong over the ball as well.
He was on that very quickly.
He's had a couple of steals here today. There was a few appeals there for offside, but both Touchy and referee, I thought Louis Nelson put his hand up to give the call, but didn't.
Might have got psyched out of it. Not sure. Yeah, they don't seem to have been policing that too much in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, Milton again. Another steal. 5 for the game as Billy Dunn driven back.
Yeah, there was a few words exchanged then from between the Maitland players. I think someone's got to take responsibility for it.
And the line speed by Maitland, very, very quick, isn't it? Here comes Davidson.
They've got numbers out wide here, the Greens.
Billy Coffey to Strawn. Strawn stands in the tackle, and Davidson comes in with a heavy shoulder. Slow ball. Dart gets it out now to Rouse. Rouse inside to Waite. Has him on the outside. Oh, the ball, the execution. That's 2 here today that have gone into touch.
Yeah, look, in fairness to Waite, the winger overran that. He should have held his line. By the time he got to him, he was almost in front, and the pass went behind him. So that's another chance. Chance gone. But that's that quick ball.
So Merewether Carlton getting their bench warmed up. You can see on the sideline there as well. That one comes off the top. McCormick. Oh, lovely little flat ball there. Robards almost going through. Here's Manu. Manu. He's been electric every time. And now Logan lights up. Logan has support on the inside. Nice tackle there by Rouse. Billy Coffey coming across. They're in trouble here, the Greens. It goes to Christensen.
Just haven't got the
out
speed
the back
out there.
to Durockney. And yes, as you said, Durockney might not need a winger here. 7 metres out from the back of the breakdown now. Johnson picks and drives. And the Greens up against it. And another penalty.
Stafford needs to settle here. Yeah, they've done that. They've learned from their lesson.
Do you go for goal, Tony?
Oh, I think they got them on the back foot, and after that last line out, I wouldn't mind betting they'll go for the 5 metre line out and go for the drive.
Well, they've chosen the scrum, I think. I wouldn't go for the line. It hasn't really been firing, so...
Yeah, that last line out was solid, straight to the forward, and I think that's the problem. They're trying to jump at 2, and they're jumping against Milton, who's been very good and keeps stealing it. If you keep doing the same thing, they changed their tactics on the last one and got a good clean ball from it. We know it's not the throwing. Runsel's throwing is excellent. It's just the timing, and that's the problem with losing your jumpers.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a 10-year hooker, are you, in first grade,
that's
without
right.
being able to nail your line-out throws?
I can name a couple, but I won't because they're mates. And we see if Maitland can get this scrum right in this occasion. This is going to be a real important play for them here.
Yeah, you can
They
see
wind out well, wind out deeply.
Yeah, they're very deep, aren't they? Logan, Clackety. He'll be wanting to go over in the corner, the 14.
Clackety looming in the back to create a bit of a diversion. You can see the experience of Manu on that attack before where he plays in front. He just knew to run at that outside, defended, bring him in, and then just put the 2 guys on the outside away from him.
He's been electric every time he's touched the ball here today, hasn't he?
And he does it at pace, so if you don't commit to him, he'll just go through. It's a shame they just Maitland couldn't finish it off.
Probably the best game he's had in a couple of years in the first round here against Wanderers, where he single-handedly won the game, and he's on par with that here today for sure. Just readjusting themselves, the black scrum.
Just wondering whether he's realising he's getting on in his career and he's only got so many good hours left in those legs.
Of course, this coverage brought to you by the Titan Group. As the Greens put some pressure on the scrum again, McCormick going with pace. Oh, going untouched. That is terrible defence by the Greens, but bodies in motion got McCormick through the gap there.
And that's exactly what it was. Bodies in motion. Manu cut back the other way. The inside defenders held off, waiting for him to go again. Clatty coming through on the outside, and they just stood off McCormack and firstly laid out the red carpet for him straight under the sticks.
Well, that's what they say. The decoy runner is as important as the receiver, and we saw there. That's exactly why. McCormick, ball out in front, perfect handling, and just went through untouched.
You don't have to be big, you don't have to be quick, but just that stealth, just that deception. Put the defence in 2 minds, make them think, make them a bit sluggish, and that was just a nicely worked move. The Greens just lacked a bit of communication and just didn't hold their player. That'll be a relief for them to put those points because they're going to need them in the back half because I know the Greens won't give in. They'll keep coming at them.
Well, we've seen that so often, haven't we, over the last 5 years since the Greens were in a grand final. And that one, no mistake there.
He's got a little bit of Matt Burke style about him. No, Matt Burke was always
straight
famous
up and
for
down.
that. Just straight in, never changed his technique, doesn't try to belt the ball, just all timing and caresses it beautifully. He's a beautiful striker of the ball.
25 points to 12. Christensen unhampered there, easy catch, pops it up. So the Greens really on the back foot now. Maitland. Here's Manu out the back. Robards to Clackety. Clackety has Strawn chasing. Somehow keeps it in. Davidson keeps it in. Robards to Manu. Backwards, says the referee. Toby Waite can't dive on the ball. He's going to get a penalty there.
That's
tackle
fair.
without the ball.
Maitland player held him back, but we've got a play down in the background here. But Jay Strawn just held off then and just channeled them into the sideline. But again, the amount of support that was there from Maitland's very, very encouraging.
It looks like it's Robards in a bit of trouble there.
They're going to pull up play.
You see Punchy Sager out there.
One of the best.
He is the best trainer out there, as they say.
And if he's not, he's hard to beat. He's been a great servant for the club over the years, hasn't he?
So he's come back now. Yeah, he has not only Maitland. He was out at Southern Beaches for a while, wasn't he? And
yeah, I think they're right.
now, of course, the Waratahs as well, where he won a premiership. Oh, picking and driving Wilson. He saw Christensen was ready to get up off the line quickly. Here's Milton. Milton ducks his head under. Here's Rockabaro. He's the one you want running to try and break this Blacks line. Very good defence.
This is what the Greens need, this quick just continually quick recycled ball. 3-second rucks to get the ball in and out.
Here comes Strawn attacking. Strawn at pace this time. Inside to Rouse. Rouse can't get around. Did he drop that? No, he didn't. No. Eddie Clifton bundled up there. A little bit slow at the breakdown. Dart now. 5 metres out. Penalty there, Greens. It'll be interesting to see here. Yellow card. We'll have a listen to this.
Offside, 11 Blacks. Quick. Can't take it quick. Two off. 11 crew offside position with the ball. Ball wasn't out.
Well, I guess he's calling that a cynical penalty because there certainly hasn't been any warnings or a consistent run of penalties in that area.
So man down. The Greens. They want to take some points out of this as Rockabara goes for the line. Whiting tucks it under, look for the pass. Looks like it may be a turnover here,
The
Tony.
Blacks are attacking it. They slowed it right down.
Well, they go to Sikiotis on the wing. Sikiotis! Try! The littlest man out there had 4 Blacks on him.
Well,
and swatted them off like they weren't even there.
And I think any talk of maybe he had concussion last week, he certainly remembered how to find his way to the line on that occasion.
Yeah, certainly. Don't know if he was seeing stars, but
he'll
be seeing schooners after that.
That's not a typical winger strike. That's just head down, nice and low, good body height and it just shows you get your body height down nice and low. You're half a chance against the defence. But that was a nice finish by him. He'd be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, definitely. He would certainly want to at least take to the forward club tonight, the front row club. They'll probably still dismiss him, but he powered over there on the Banlaw replay, and now Carlton hits back. 17-25 in favour of the Blacks. Kick to come.
Looks like the Blacks have got some replacements coming on at the moment.
Yeah, the Blacks probably at disadvantage with the bench having their second grade playing previously to this game. So the Greens had the luxury with a fresh bench, or fresh-ish. There's Cam Turner coming on for Rockabara and Dart. And Norris, the other man, to enter the fray. Sam Dart, he's been big out there, Rockabaro. Interesting change there. He's probably one of the players out there. I know he has got old, tired legs, as they say, but you probably want to keep him out there with everything on the line.
Probably would have kept him there with his experience, and he hasn't had a dominant effect on the game today. He hasn't had a lot of ball carries. Hasn't been any of those massive hits that he put on last week.
Something that can happen out of nothing, though. He's one of those types of players. And now Maitland look to restart.
I guess this is coming down to the Greens.
Oh, that ball just trickles over the sideline. We've seen it so many times.
That was the wind then. He thought he was under it. The wind just held it up a bit. He needed to take another step into that. But I think the Greens are looking now to try and up-tempo the game and try and run these Blacks around. You can see that last passage of play, quick ball, if they can move from side to side. That's where they're going to try and get the Maitland players.
20 minutes to go in the half. Off the top.
Better line out.
Great line out there. Manu turned back on the inside. This time he's the battering ram. As they come around, good hands by
nice
Chapman
hands
to his partner there in the front row, Manu. As they come across, this is trouble here. Logan gets away from a couple, now straightens up. Jerome Wilson pulls out of the tackle, almost gives himself up. Got him around the collar.
Been unnoticed.
Oh, around the corner pass. Just hands would have done that, Tony.
Yeah, look, they don't need to play fancy. If they just Maitland just need to keep their composure, get their structure back and just move the ball as they are. But
here's Davidson. Well, that's the man you want to do it as he charges up the field, straightens it up and gets to ground. Whiting comes over. Yeah, penalty, yeah.
They'll come through, they'll take the points here.
You'd have to think they'll take the points here.
You'd have to. Yeah, the Maitland guys have just got to keep their composure. They're in front. They've got a good lead. If they can just settle the play down and just play some good percentage football, don't go into their shell. You've still got to keep attacking. They're going for the scrum.
25 points to 17 on the street property scoreboard you mentioned, so 2 tries really in it.
Yeah, and that the scoreboard pressure, you don't underestimate that. You keep that ticking over. All of a sudden it changes the psyche, the mentality of the other team. They've come down, they've got points. They'll work their way back down again. But they're backing themselves.
Yeah, good positive.
You've got to respect that
stuff here, and I guess with the form of this backline, Chris Logan, he's looking good here today as well. And McCormick, aside from that flick pass before, he's been really controlling the game. He's a completely different player to what we saw last week.
Yeah, and he's played himself into this game. He's just warmed to it. I think he's had that 10 minutes on the bench and thinks he owes the boys some payback for that time out. They've done the extra work for him, so he's really stepping up and taking control. But I like what Manu and what Logan are doing. They're the 2 danger men. They've just got to try and keep them control the Greens. But the Greens have got to get out of this end of the play and put some pressure on this Maitland team at the other end of the field. But in saying that, we know they've got the speed and the size and the pace to score from anywhere on the paddock.
Yeah, a little bit going on out there as well.
17 gone. We've got 18 and a half. Yeah, 18 a bit.
18 a bit to go.
Must have got the restart or something. 18, yeah. Right. Righto, cheers boys.
18 to go, as heard by the referees.
Wilson's been a bit quiet today.
Yeah, Jerome Wilson hasn't seen too much ball. I guess they've gone away from him, really. He's normally that first receiver, sets up for the offload. And
I think some of their bigger names, he and Strawny's been pretty quiet. I think he needs
he
to
had
get the ball in
a
his
quiet
hand.
game last week as well. I guess the only time we got excited was when he got head high and when he came in late for that try.
Yeah, and look, they're putting him out there on the wing defensively, hoping that when the ball gets kicked back, he can counter-attack. But the Blacks aren't kicking it back to them, but he needs to get himself in close to the action, get the hand on the ball where he's strong.
Well, we saw 10 minutes in, he was around the fly half position and directing them round. In any case, we're back on here on Bar TV Sports, brought to you by the Titan Group. It is the 2019.
He does like a short side.
Yeah, he got the penalty there, and again, don't know about that one. There's McCormick, quick tap. Manu comes on the inside. Clifton bounces off him. Manu up to the 5 metre line. Now they'll probably pick and drive here, and there's Devante Manu. They go again, quick play there by Chapman. Looking to seize the opportunity. Runchel to the right. Looking for someone off his hip. Manu came around. Runchel goes for the try line. Here's Manu. Manu steps. He's taken this time. They go again. McCormick, you can see out there. He's pointing to the left. Davidson, quick ball. Johnson pulled up short. Brown all over the ball. Have to keep his feet here. Runchel now. Can't get a ball. Clifton under the ribs.
Great tackle.
Hit of the day. Here's Christensen. They lose about 10. The Blacks.
The Greens' line speed's been good, and they're keeping their spacing in defence as well, so they're not giving any obvious areas where the Blacks can attack.
Yeah, Whiting's going to have to be careful there to roll away. Good counter-rucking by Brown.
They've got it.
They've turned the ball over. Coffey goes quick to Rouse. Rouse has Sikiotis on the outside. He's somewhat isolated again, though. And the Greens a little slow to get there, taking it out of them a bit defensively. As Billy Dunn.
Well, they're going to back themselves to run it out. No, there's the kick.
Little box kick was advantage being played there.
No, but it's a nice kick.
Oh, lovely kick towards the sideline, right angles.
Big
And
leg break.
they'll try and get the ball back through Milton, you'd say here, and attack this line out. But Maitland, they fixed it. So it seems.
We just had a message from Padang Airport. And there's a bunch of Newcastle boys, my son included, have been over there on a surfing trip in Indonesia. So hello boys, hope you got some good waves while you're away.
Yeah, nice. Lucky for some.
For some stories, yeah.
I saw Merewether Carlton manager Pete Ryan's back from his Mauritius sojourn, just in time for finals.
I don't know how he gets away with it, but he does. He's been doing it for a long time. But yeah, a lot of rugby fans, and obviously with the Merewether Carlton club, there's a lot of surfers as well. So they've been over there enjoying some waves and some friendly time. But I know they've got some children to come home to, and the girls are going to take some time off, and the boys are going to be on full-time duty.
There you go. And the Blacks. They've made the trip into the big city. They may go away alive in this final series. They certainly are alive on the leaderboard, as it looks like a couple more changes coming. Davidson taking that one on. Kick over the top, bouncing up. Sikiotis roused a little bit far away to get the pass, and that's a kick off the side of the boot. Logan does well to get under that. Comes back to McCormick. McCormick's going to run it this time. Brown gets an arm to him. Not a bad chase there by the Greens. And they come up with the ball. So Clifton to Wilson. Wilson drives forward. Better run by Jerome Wilson. Billy Coffey looking to take some pressure off there. And that's going to be come back for a scrum knock on Maitland.
The original knock on. That's the sort of runs they need from Wilson. Like see, Willie So's now lining up to come on from the backs. He had a strong game in reserve grade today.
Yeah, and he came on last week as well. Very good scrummager, as you know. He's been around, came into first grade as a 17-year-old, I think.
Yeah, he's been around.
At a Lake Macquarie.
No, for a big man, he gets through a surprising amount of work. And I even noticed late in the game there was a kick through, and he's still chasing the kick down.
Billy Dunn comes from the field. The little engine that could.
Lodge has gone on for him.
Won't be happy with being replaced. Billy Dunn, he's an 80-minute player. He certainly has improved at the set piece this year, as Willie So comes on for Manu.
I think these games too, Gareth, is it's really important that the coaches are prepared to back their bench and empty them to make sure they've got fresh legs. You don't want blokes running around when they're busted, and you've got some fresh legs on the field. And quite often those players can just give that lift that the team needs at the right amount of time. So I think the coaches, both teams, seem to be managing that process well.
Had a good game, didn't he, Devante Manu?
Yeah, did some good work.
Not worked over in the scrum, but plenty of work in the engine room and good around the park.
Yeah, I think the scrum problem wasn't coming from his side. I think he held up his tight head side pretty well.
So the Greens with the scrum feed, looking for the short arm.
It's like Clackett's getting ready to come back into the game.
Yep. So they'll be disappointing, won't they, the Greens, that they haven't got over since he's been off.
Yep. It goes to show the importance of that decision down here too. When the Blacks had the opportunity to take the three and they didn't, they've come away empty-handed. You just keep the opposition with a bit of a sniff in it. He's got the early shove on the scrum there.
Yeah, so they get the penalty against them. They'll be sourly disappointed with that call.
It's always a tough call with your feed. Why would you collapse the scrum? It just doesn't.
It doesn't.
Logic just doesn't make sense. Quite often, some of these teams, especially when they've got some experienced front rowers, they'll just pull back a bit, makes the opposition stretch out, and they've got nowhere to go but down.
So McCormick for the touchline, over halfway, or right on halfway. Greens. It's getting harder and harder as it ticks.
They're very controlled walking into this line out. I know they're obviously wanting to slow it down and make sure they get this possession. Whether it's
up the back, Chapman with a big palm out. Clifton. He's been run at all day, the little halfback. Manu, yeah, that'll be forward. Unlucky. I thought it was a line ball. The next ball was going to be forward anyway.
Close to the line, but there was a bit of hesitation there to give it. There was a double pump, and he probably, I'm not sure whether Manu was supposed to get it or not. It was just a lack of communication there. He's having a little bit of a chat there with Schmill, so they've obviously, it seems to be a healthy respect there between the two. And Matt Thomas will be disappointed with that.
So Maitland as well with a change. Martin coming on the field. Was put to the bench pre-game.
They'll use Beatty in at 10.
Yeah, McCormick's still out there.
He's playing well. And they're functioning well.
The cohesion's back as Clifton goes to Toby Waite. Billy Coffey again looking to run it. I like to see him go out the back to Strawn. I mean, he's doing a good job of it, Billy Coffey.
Yeah.
But Jay Strawn touched the ball twice all game.
Yeah, and when he has done it, he's made good metres.
Now Eddie Clifton finds a bit of space up to halfway. Here's Strawn in at halfback. Brown only knows one way. Here's Robinson. Tackled nicely.
Been cleaned out. Yeah, the Greens have got to try and speed this play up. They're just one-out runners at the moment. They're just too predictable. This Maitland team will tackle them all day.
It comes as well with, they've made a fair few changes. Milton catches that above his head. So the cohesion that the Greens did have, and they knocked the ball on there. Takes a couple of minutes to get them right, you'd say. Yeah, but you can't afford it.
And there's been some opportunities there for the Greens where they've had the back line out the back, where they've hit the forwards hit up, and all they need to do is throw a ball out the back, and they've got a back line ready to go with the likes of Strawn and Rouse and Sikiatis out there on the wing.
And Schmuhar as well. We saw Schmuhar last week. He's so hard to stop on those edges. Yeah. They just haven't used their back line here today, the Greens.
So Billy
they've been good in patches.
Coffey's now getting some boot repairs. Schmuhar's gone in to have a bit of a chat with the forwards and give them a bit of a rev up.
Yeah, just tell them what to do. Nothing like a winger coming in off the wing just to give you a rev up.
Let's give him the credit for the experience that he has.
Yeah, that's right. Good Sydney experience.
Coffey's ready to go again. Yeah, the Greens are just playing very one-dimensional at the moment. They're just pearling around the corner. The Maitland holding their line speed well. They're holding their defensive pat. There's no obvious gaps where to go, and they're just picking them off one by one. I don't think that's where the Greens are going to get this Maitland pack, because physically they won't match up with them.
Well, it's that time in the match, isn't it, where your 10, Toby Waite, needs to stand up and really take control, get some players around him, get them moving around, as we've seen Josh McCormick.
Yeah. Plenty
of semi-final series now. He's stepped up this game, and he's really directing the traffic. It's polar opposites for the two 10s at the moment.
It's the work that Logan and Manu in particular have done. He's just given that options. They're throwing decoy runners. They're throwing the ball out the back. They're supporting Manu's, creating 3-on-1s out of nothing. The Greens will put some pressure on this scrum.
Yeah, if they go early again, the Greens, and the quick tap's taken. Johnson goes forward.
Oh, that's been stolen.
No, he's going to diving over. I don't know about that one. I'll call it as I see it. I don't think he even dived over that, did he?
Well, he stayed on his feet the whole time.
Pack the ball. Stay on the ground. Number 4.
Number 4 they got. So Robinson was the culprit. We're going to take the shot too. 25-17. Not a bad option.
He wasn't the original attacker, so I'm a little bit confused about that decision, where he didn't go to ground at all.
So 8 minutes remaining.
Manu's recognised how well Bradford's been kicking, how the contact he's been making, and judging, if any, from his previous kicks, if they're any indication, he's certainly got the distance on this one, even with that slight breeze blowing into his face.
8 minutes remaining, as I just said, and soaking up even more time here. Bradford in front. 45 out. He's hit it nice. He hasn't got the distance. It's under the post. Unlucky there as Rouse clears the ball out.
Well, it's not a bad result from the Greens. They've got themselves out of trouble.
They're at 22, and it's the midfield section here. They've looked a little bit patchy and one-dimensional. Yeah. When they're inside their own 22 and the opposition 22, they come together.
But it hasn't gone in straight. It's the first one they've called all day, which is not consistent with what's been happening in the rest of the game. But Anyhow, maybe it's a different part of the game they want to focus on.
Well, the scrum will come now. Lodge. He's out there, so new front row. We've got Philip Ryan coming on the field for Whiting. So young Ryan. He's a cult hero, isn't he, Whiting?
They'll be hoping he is. They'll be hoping to keep this dominance in the scrum, so it'll be interesting to see what a difference it makes, because Willie So's a very good scrummager.
Goes down this time. There was always the plan to take Whiting off with about 10 to go. He's not quite an 80-minute Australian footballer yet.
Mate,
the sun would have worn him out here today, trust me.
I don't think he would have put his hand up because he looked like he's enjoying himself out there.
I can see him down there. His neck looks awfully red.
Bit of aloe vera will fix him up tonight.
So Brown stays out there. And Lodge, very good player, Lodge. He's tough. He's playing in a hooker. Came on for Billy Dunn before, and he's done plenty of tight work out there.
Smoor out the back, maybe coming off Bill Coffey to trying to attract some attention.
Nice ball there, Clifton, or in face ball. You don't see too many of those these days.
I think it came off Schmuel's hand, so he got a lucky bounce on it.
Here comes Milton. Milton, he's been immense here today. Trying to lift his side. Jerome Wilson now, he's calling for it. Probably too flat-footed there, but he manages to offload. They go back towards the left. Clifton turns Strawn inside. Strawn gets away from a couple. He's pulled down. Chapman around the bootlaces. Here's Waite to Coffey. Coffey winds up on the edges there.
Slowly making ground upfield. Maitland's keeping a very good defensive line.
Here's Milton again. Milton slices through. Now Clifton comes out the back and uses the referee as shepherd. They pick and drive again. There's slow ball. Now that's better. That's quicker stuff by Jerome Wilson.
Trying to free the arms. It couldn't quite get that ball away. He just needed a support runner.
We had Milton on the outside trying to get there but couldn't. Now it spits out the back. Almost a mousetrap play there, Tony.
I think that's illegal anymore, is it?
Here comes Strawn. Strawn straightens it. Runs nowhere but into a black defensive wall. And that's a knock on. So, little errors really hurting Carlton's chances of advancing here. The Blacks.
The Blacks look out on their feet, some of their boys.
Yeah.
They've got three down. Manu's got the hands on the hips.
Well, we mentioned before the benches, the Maitland side playing previously to this game, so the bench not as healthy, not as fit as probably they'd like.
But
it's always...
they'll be probably glad for this little breather and a break. And again, Greens were making some territory then, but again, not really asking any great questions of the Maitland defence. I think Maitland were realigning very quickly, so they've obviously done a lot of work. Looks like Maitland are looking to another replacement in the front row.
Is it Vincent coming on?
Coming on, yeah. It looks like he had a strong game in reserves today.
Yeah, young player.
Yeah.
He's certainly got the body for it.
Him and Willie So teamed up well in second grade and looking to do the same now to finish this off for the Maitland team.
As well, the Greens making a change as well. Fouls coming on. Toby Waite coming from the field, so Strawn.
Strawn into 10. Yeah,
I think this is good with 5 to go. They need 2 tries.
That's a good play. Fouls gives them some serious gas out wide as well. And Strawn will get his hands on the ball and create a... He'll just attract plays. With him and Coffey inside, they'll be attracting 2 or 3 defenders, and hopefully, for their sake, they'll be able to free up some of these other guys out wide.
Yeah, so 78 on the scoreboard, but there's probably 5 minutes of injury time, you'd have to think. So the Greens, their fans, always with hearts in mouth. They close strongly. And here comes Dan Runchell from the field. Gets a big clap from this Maitland crowd. He's part of the Blacks family. And he's Been one of their best.
Go back out again, some of the old boys.
He's been one of their best over so many years.
The Blacks have got a short arm again from this. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I think he's going to kick the ball into touch. Soak up a bit more time. Off the side of the boot.
Strawn's doing a lot of talking in the background now, trying to organise some sort of an attack. The Greens have just got to keep the ball in hand now. They've got to move it around from side to side. You won't see any kicking, and hang on to it as long as they can to try and somehow break this.
Last change as well for the Greens. Miller coming on. Probably would have liked to see him come on a bit early. He adds a bit of...
Well, he's got some experience.
And he adds a bit around the park. Oh, that comes off the top. Jerome Wilson now. Recipient of the offload up to the 22. So the Greens, can they close fast here? As we've seen in so many semi-final series, they seem to come up with something.
Trying to hold him up some more.
And the Blacks, they're doing well here defensively. They turn the ball. So here comes Bradford. Bradford throws the dummy. And Strawn takes him over the sideline.
The Greens have got to get away from this arm wrestle. They've just got to start moving the ball from side to side. They know they're not going to go through Maitland. They've got to try and get around them. But at the moment, the Maitland pack are just picking them off one by one.
Good win there by Milton. Billy Coffey again up the centre of the field. Oh, lovely run there, looking for support, can't find it. Oh, the penalty comes back. So it looks like Krebit penalised again.
Maybe in a penalty, blowing the whistle a little bit prematurely. Then the Greens have made the bust.
Yeah, Norris up the field. I think maybe.
So whether they've been an infringement.
Yeah, I think maybe it was a forward pass from the back there, but in any case, Strawn kicking duties as well. Not a recognised kicker. Hasn't probably kicked the ball for
a while,
for a number of years.
So he did. He was the goal kicker back in 2010 when they won their grand final.
Off the top, oh, they lose it, Milton.
It's a loose ball. No one needs to dive on it.
So McCormick straight back into the pocket, looking for a good exit. You can hear the referee calling for hands out.
Try and hit this up a couple of times, soak up some more time.
Yeah,
try
good.
And get an easier exit here from McCormack.
Good play by the Blacks. Good patience, good composure from the grand finalists of 2018. Now it comes back. McCormick off the side of the boot, pressured, and
he was trying to put the banana kick in there, which didn't quite work.
Yeah, almost out in goals.
Greens need to speed this up now.
Yeah, I was going to say they need a quick one here, and they get it. Here comes Strawn. Strawn taking the line, and oh, poor pass. Poor communication between the 10, or the makeshift 10 and the 12.
Ooh.
Swinging arm over the top. He stayed down.
He almost gave himself an uppercut.
So here they come. They need quick ball here. Rouse. Wilson steps around. The Greens. Thought maybe a little knock on at the back there from Clifton.
Got him on his back here.
Yeah, turned him over.
Not releasing.
Quick tap by Shmuha. No, he's going to call it back. 8 Black offside, so Johnson that time. Calling it back, Manu, with all his experience.
Yeah,
slowing it down again. Billy Coffey was calling for it. Jerome Wilson took it himself. Milton to the right. Shmuha, oh, almost knocking it down. Is this a try? No, it's a knock on. Unlucky there, Greens. Blacks getting out of trouble. 25-17.
The Blacks had won the turnover and they didn't realise they'd won it, and the ball's come back, and I think they were lucky to get away with that, the Blacks.
Yeah, very lucky. It was knocked down by the Greens player, but they'll really want to pressure this scrum here. The Greens, they'll have to watch themselves. They don't want to go too early. They've been pinged, I think, 4 times by my count.
Yep. They've got the last 3 scrums have ended up in short arm or penalties. So the There can't be too much time left on the clock for them.
Let's go, Black.
Well, there's been some good performances across both teams there today, Gareth, and I you know, in terms of picking a man of the match, the front rowers for the Greens I thought had been outstanding. Milton was good, a little bit quieter in the second half. Davidson, the back row for Maitland, have been outstanding.
And Carl Manu as well.
Manu's just really stepped up and shown his class today as well.
You can see him there looking for the hit up. Manu. The Greens really looking to pressure this scrum, but they hold strong, the Blacks. Comes out the side. Manu, as we said, takes the pressure reliever. Bradford comes back. That's Vincent.
Him. Yeah.
Bodies everywhere. Flung to the ground.
Greens will try and get a turnover
Here comes Willie So. Oh,
the basketball pass over the top.
He's a known point guard too, Willie So. Comes out over the touch. The Greens haven't got long to go into injury time.
It was good pressure, but again, that's that poor decision making by Maitland. They're in a situation to control the game, a couple of hit ups and clear the ball. Instead, they try to spread it wide, got the turnover, and give the Greens a sniff of the try line. I don't know if they're going to have enough time to score enough points to win, but it's going to be. They don't want to take that into the rest of the season.
It's going to be tough for them to get away with that.
As this scrum packs down now for the Greens, they're got a traditional line. The blind side wingers come in. Fowles has come in to look to create a bit of deception out wide, maybe off Schmuer.
Good scrum there by the Greens. Straw now taking the line on. Billy Coffey outside him, as you said, Schmuer. Looks as though he's playing outside centre.
This is not going to score them.
Now picking and driving, it's just wasting time. They need to take a leaf out of the Maitland Blacks book and get a sharp backline play set maybe. Bodies in motion. Here's Brown. Brown takes them forward.
There's the turnover.
Yeah.
That's not the play. Greens need to be moving that ball from side to side, use their fitness and their speed. They're just letting
the Blacks are
down
just
then.
the Blacks are just soaking it up, aren't they? And
they'll tackle all day and they'll just pick them off when the time's right. Their decision
they're
making.
back
The
there. I mean, their back row probably, along with Hamilton, best in the competition. You'd say, especially turnovers and at the breakdown. And yeah, you're just not going to get away with it in the semi-final.
No. I'm guessing this is the last play. They've opted for the scrum rather than the line out. They're putting it into touch. I thought that was a penalty then. Maybe they picked up a knock on.
That was a knock on, I think, yeah.
Again, Manu in that position to hit the first ball up off the back of the scrum.
McCormick to the left.
Joker to the right.
And here I am, stuck in the middle. So, yeah, just really the clock winding down. Maitland, the side most likely now at this point to go through to take on Wanderers next week.
The difference in the scrum dynamics with a change of front row.
Here's Manu. Manu's kicked it out. Is he going to find touch? Oh, somehow he found touch, and that is a game over. The Maitland Black crowd goes up, and the Maitland side go through. What a game. Who's your best out there, Tony?
Just in the losing team, it's tough, but I think you've got to give to Manu today. He just controlled the play beautifully. He hit the ball at speed. Everything he did today just turned to goal.
Yeah, I'm going to say stick with you there, Manu. Very good on the edges. Really got him back into the game. Josh McCormick, he had an exceptional game, I thought, there today. And in the end, the Greens bow out of the Rams 2019 semi-final series here on Bar TV Sports. Thanks very much, Tony, for joining us.
Been a pleasure. And before I go, I need to send a shout out to my wife so I can get dinner when I get home.
Very good. Well, at least you're getting dinner as we clock off for another game next weekend. Be here on Saturday at number 2 Sports Ground, where the Wanderers will take on Maitland for a place in the 2019 Grand Final against the Hamilton Hawks. I'm Gareth Wazick, and we'll catch you next time.